We're talking The Substance today.
The Substance.
Gene and Roger talk movies. You might assume it's a David Cronenberg film. It is not.
No, it is not.
But it is. If you like David Cronenberg, you'll be at home with this particular film. But let's get right in. Gene, where are you at with The Substance?
Yeah, The Substance. It's a horror movie. We talk about horror movies. This movie's great. Love it. Love it. Love it. They're super deep themes. You know, as I've talked about, horror's really got to have two elements, some kind of deformation of the human body, and it has to impact you on a personal level. And this movie does both of those in abundance. So, yeah, you watch this movie, you are guaranteed to feel uncomfortable. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well,
and it's a lot of really deep themes that are super prevalent in modern American society, worldwide society, not just America, I would say. But yeah, I had good conversations with my wife about this movie. You know, she didn't see it with me, but just general, yeah, just general themes. Yeah, it's great stuff. It's great.
Well, and one of the big selling points, I think, of this film is who's in it. Demi Moore is in it.
Yeah, they're big stars in this thing. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley. Yeah, so Demi Moore, we all know Demi Moore.
Do you know who Margaret Qualley's
Yes, I know. I was going to
is?
talk about Margaret Qualley. But Demi Moore, she's 62. We all know her from the 1990 hit Ghost.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
so
Gene, I know
that's how I know her.
I know her from the 1982 3D film Parasite, which she was probably
Lord.
18 in that one. And basically the last real horror movie she did prior to this one, I think.
Yeah, this is super horror. And Margaret Qualley is... we all know Margaret Qualley, and she's done a lot of movies. And to her credit, she seems to steer herself more towards independent films. She's done a lot of A24s. She's in one of my favorite movies called Native Son. You know, stars at noon. It's a Netflix series called Made. But her mom is Addie McDowell, famously from Groundhog Day, which we all know and love. So that's her mom.
Okay.
But
and of course Dennis Quaid, who we all love from Jaws 3D.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid, he plays the requisite American sleazeball. Yeah, TV producer.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
And he does it very well, almost too well, I would say. It makes me a little scared. Is like, are you that way in real life? Can actors be too good?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a different topic, I think. Yeah.
But the general overall plot line here is what, Gene?
Oh, you want me to talk about it? Just in super
sure.
detail? I think for our show, I think we're going to talk more about themes.
Yes,
and less talking
but
less plot.
General plot.
But just general plot line is that Demi Moore, she's a Hollywood actress. The movie starts with her getting the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I've been there, which is kind of cool. But she's aging, and she is losing that fame that goes along with that whole industry. And she's a star of her own, like a workout show,
Right,
kind of like a Jane Fonda.
Doing the Jane Fonda
yeah,
thing,
the same with the tights and then the leg warmers. Is kind of silly looking back, but it was a big thing in the day. But then out of the blue, she's fired, and then she finds out about this thing called The Substance. It's a way to maybe reclaim past glory. So she takes it, and no, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well at all. Yeah, because she thinks that she will be rejuvenated, but no. Yeah, without getting into too much plot, yeah, it just goes bad for both parties. So, yeah.
Right. The idea is you're creating another version, a younger version that is kind of sharing your consciousness. I love the line how the substance guy is like, you're the same person, right? Because she keeps saying, oh, it's her or her. And it's like, no, you're thinking wrong. It's you.
It's you, right.
And
it's not her or me, it's you.
Right.
You're the same person.
And so we're in full-on David Cronenberg territory here. I don't remember the director's name. It's a female.
It's a female in one of her first films. I didn't write it down. I don't know, but props to her as well.
Right. It's right in that David Cronenberg realm. And, of course, being that it's a female director, the fact that she was able to entice Demi Moore into this role This movie is highly sexualized as well.
Highly.
Significant
yes.
amounts of nudity, significant amounts of looking at the female form, aging female form or younger version.
Yeah, aging female form would be Demi Moore. Mm-hmm. Young female form, Margaret Qualley. Yeah.
Right. And so it's going the full body horror thing there, but also a lot of the commentary, social commentary and themes that Gene's talking about. Let's actually get right into that because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, the social commentary, some big themes is beauty and women, especially how our society, and again, I use "our," but it's not necessarily an American thing. I think it's a worldwide thing. But beauty is about young women's bodies, the male gaze, and what happens to women as they get older and that part of their life goes away. And yeah, I was talking to my wife about this, and she's had an interesting comment. She said that as women get older, they disappear. Mm-hmm. People don't notice them as much. Your influence, your status kind of decreases for women as you get older. So I don't know if it's as much for men, but that was definitely her observation. She has someone who has lived it. She has a lot of great friends, and she has definitely noticed this phenomenon.
Right, and I think that's one of the reasons the director set this with a Hollywood movie star as the primary thing, right? Because that is where it is most blatantly obvious when it happens. Oh, you're 30 now? We're going to cast you as the grandmother.
Right? You're just 30.
You're just so old now, right? And
right.
And you're exactly right, or your wife is exactly right with that disappearing part, because that was the whole objective of the Demi Moore character was, I have to be relevant again in this world that I live in, this Hollywood world, this male-dominated thing.
Male-dominated, right. And the males, interestingly, who run this society or this culture are not the kind of males that you would look up to. They're not like thoughtful, deliberate men who make their decisions in a collaborative manner. No, they're just off the cuff morons, complete imbeciles who somehow have got lucky and have a hit show, and somehow now they have influence.
Well, and they're overinflated egos, how important they are. Because I love the Dennis Quaid scene where he's got that. He's got that
played to the nth degree.
That assistant, her name is Isabel or something. It's like, that's too long for me to remember. Your name's Cindy now.
Yeah, that's right. He just renames her because he can't say Isabel. He plays it over the top, and like I said, it was just, are there guys really like that out there? I'm sure there are. I don't know. I see shows.
In Hollywood, there definitely is. I mean, just even some of the more extreme examples would be Weinstein, where you want to be in my movie, you're doing a thing for me.
Yeah,
I've got all this power and this stuff, and I will ruin your career if you don't behave the way I want you to.
Right. Yeah. Which is crazy because we watch my favorite movies, for my kids as well, is Lord of the Rings, and whose credit appears right at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, or at the end, I guess, but Harvey Weinstein.
Well, there's 1,000 credits on that movie, though.
Yeah, there are.
Billions of people throwing money at that one. But the other thing I like too about the substance itself.
It's a drug you take.
Right. It's of course not FDA approved or anything. No. It's this shady little deal, right?
Way shady.
And so I
love that you to get there, you have to go into a Hollywood dark alley, and then you press. What is it?
She has her little card.
She got a card, yeah. Yeah, and the doors, there's a sliding door, but it doesn't open all the way. It just opens like a little bit, and you have to really duck to get in.
Yeah.
Love it.
But I like the idea of, because I think both you and I, we live with women.
Yeah.
My bathroom routine is, here's my Irish Spring.
20 years.
And here's my Pert Plus, right? And then my wife is, here's 1,000 products that I use daily, right? And it's this, to me, this substance was kind of this additional commentary of the societal pressure on women to Oh yes.
Yeah, beauty.
Here's your wrinkle cream.
The products, right?
The products. Some Tibetan
sure.
monks harvest this flower from way up on the Himalayan
Oh
mountains.
yeah, it's a product from from the larvae of
right,
moths.
larvae.
Found in the jungle of Ethiopia. Yeah,
and it's all BS, right? But no.
But it costs $50 for half an ounce.
Right. Yeah. And so you've got all this stuff with this because of this pressure
substance,
on you to. Oh, you've got to look young all the time, and you can't actually.
Oh, take this cream, and it'll save you. Yeah.
And so, because she just immediately basically injects this. There's no like, wow, is this going to harm me or anything? It's like, oh no, it's going to make me young again or whatever. So straight up inject it.
She just puts it right in there. Yeah.
Right.
And the effects are immediate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Without getting into the gory details, but. Again, it's like I love movies because we do a lot of horror movies, right? We watch horror movies, we review them. I've seen a lot of horror movies, but I love horror movies that still surprise you. Yeah, I mean, part of this movie is like, oh, okay, I don't think I've really seen that before.
Right.
That's good stuff.
The only real criticism I have of this movie is its length. It is 2 hours and like
I knew you'd say that.
Long.
It is a little long, right?
And the ending is off the charts, full on just crazy world. But there's a number of scenes where I'm just like, okay, we're rehashing what we already know. Keep going. So there is a little bit of that where I was like going, oh my gosh, is this still?
Yeah, horror movies, I agree that they work best in like the hour and a half, 90, 95 minutes mode. So yeah, it's because it's tight, it's condensed.
Right. You
keep the pedal on the gas, in terms of plot, things will keep happening. But yeah, it's entertaining throughout. I got to say that. Okay. So hats off to you, the director, producer. But a little shorter probably.
Well, and did you notice there's not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie? Did you notice that? Because as I was watching it, I'm like, there's not a lot of dialogue, not a lot of interplay between the characters. I mean, Dennis Quaid probably has the most dialogue.
Interesting, yes.
And because there's no interplay between the two Demi Moore selves until near the end. And so there's just not a lot.
Well, that's the whole idea is that you exist separately. Mm-hmm. One version gets 7 days. You trade. The other version gets 7 days. And the thing can work as long as it works, as long as there's balance. But there's going to be no balance.
Right.
It's impossible for them to be balanced.
Yeah.
And that brings up another thing is that this whole movie has the theme, of we talked about beauty, but also aging. And this is a big worldwide thing. Everyone's getting older. Like, wow, yesterday I think I was 30, and now I'm like not.
Oh, I don't think that I'm pretty old.
Yeah, so our aging society, and what do you do as an aging? And some of the great lines here, because this whole thing is like the balance between the older person and the younger person. There's supposed to be some kind of balance. It's advertised it'll work if there's balance, but from the get-go, because Demi Moore, she's given a code, and to get into where she gets her resupplies, she has to.
She's 503.
She's 503 her code, and she goes to the locker 503. Yeah, and she meets another guy who's 207 at this coffee shop. And this guy has interesting comments, and I actually wrote them down, is that and he's an old guy, and he talks about that you have to remember, he says, is that you as the older partner, you deserve to exist. You're still worth something, and you still matter. I think him having to say that, reinforces the ideas that as you get older, these things maybe go away. And the movie really brings this up, is that the young person leads a life that's just vibrant and exciting. It's just in front of the cameras. She has adoration. Yet the older one does nothing. Like, she sits every day in front of her TV with the remote right there, and just piles of food in front of her, chicken, and she's eating ice cream out of the big half-gallon bucket. And she's just leaving a mess, and that's what her life is. And she just doesn't move because you can see the impression in the chair.
Right.
So the dichotomy of the lives is like, one is just sitting in a chair watching and doing nothing, and the other ones, yeah.
Right, and that just backs up to that as you age, especially in Hollywood, you get discarded. And what is she supposed to do at this point, right? And so she's just secluding herself, isolating herself. And how many older people do we know that do that?
How many older people are like that? It's like watch a lot of TV, not really active, not really leading an active life.
Well, but I think too, like with that,
I think it's more common than we want to accept.
I think it backs up the idea, though, of our younger people saying, "Oh, let's go get Grandpa to participate in this thing we're doing." No, they don't, and so you allow Grandpa to just sit there and watch the TV and this and that.
Yeah, but I would say that, but Grandpa needs to make a decision. Grandpa needs to decide to be more active, and I got to say that then in our society. I think we've made strides in that, because I think at one time, I'll use the example of that TV show Golden Girls. In Golden Girls,
which is its own special kind of work.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But those women, I think they were like around 50 and they looked old. But today, women who are 50 is like, are you kidding me? They don't look like that way anymore. Like a lot of women, they really take care of themselves, and you can't really tell that they're 50. They look like they're 30 or 25. So it's there's been a shift in that. People are taking care of themselves more. Like just working out more. So that aging is being delayed. And some Hollywood actresses are great examples of that. They're older. And you can kind of tell they're older, but they look great for being 50, 55, even 60, 65.
But again, I think this goes back into the whole idea of all these products that you have to put on yourself to remain vibrant. You have to do
the other thing is just you still have to live a life. Mm-hmm. You still have to, but you have to somehow make it happen for you. Whatever that is, you just got to be doing it, making your life worthwhile, for you, whatever that entails. And for your personality, where you're at in life. But yeah, you can't just be sitting in front of a TV. You got to do stuff.
Right. Well, and I love how towards the latter part of the film, Demi Moore's character was purposely ruining the entire apartment with all this trashed food and crap everywhere just to piss off her other self.
Right. It's a parting gift. Dennis Quaid gives her a little package. And he said, "Oh, this is for me and the whole staff." And it's a cookbook. Can you believe it? But towards the end, I got to talk about this, but one of my favorite plays of all time is this play called Lieutenant of Inishmore. And really fast, it's about the world's, kind of go with me here, but it's a play about the world's most dangerous terrorist. Vicious killer. He earns the title. But the world's most dangerous terrorist loves his cat. And so one time he goes out on a mission and he tells his buddy to take care of his cat. Well, his buddy's not too smart. And he loses the cat. So can you imagine what's going to happen? The world's most dangerous terrorist comes home and finds out that you've lost his cat. So anyway, bring this all up because that play is one of the most bloodiest plays I've ever seen. There's scenes where there's like 20 bodies on the stage and there's blood everywhere. This guy's got this saws cutting this dude's arm off. And again, there's this in the credits, there's like this called Blood Crew, and there's just blood everywhere. And it totally reminded me the climax ending scenes of this movie is just a blood soaked fest. Everyone's getting covered with blood. I mean, in the audience, all the extras, all the people on the stage, the fellow dancers. I don't know if I've ever really seen that, which I was just, again, you got to appreciate movies that just take it to another level, show things I haven't really seen before. And so I got to really give props to this movie. But it reminds me of a Lieutenant of Inishmore. So it's just blood. It's just everywhere.
Of course, you have seen this before in Dead Alive.
That was a different set. So you can kind of tell it was like, something else. But this was, it was black. But it also reminds me, we all know the movie The Thing, Kurt Russell, 1980. But this definitely has elements from The Thing.
And of course, Gene, The Thing was 1982.
Oh, sorry. 2 years.
Gotta get it right, baby.
But yeah, it's definitely elements of The Thing is that the substance is a force that can just alter the human form in just ways that are just massively unintended. Yeah.
Well, and
gross beyond measure.
What was the director trying to tell us with that ending sequence with what you've just described? This is where the movie for a lot of people just goes off the rails and they don't like this ending.
No, I love this ending. I just love it. Because I think it's saying that we have to just let nature play its course. And that as we age, we need to find meaning. However it is for us, we need to find meaning and we need to live our lives and we need to still be pulling those ships over the mountain. Klaus Kinski reference. But
it's Geraldo, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So we still have to be doing that even when we're older. And then if we start messing with Mother Nature or the sequence here, it just gets bad. Or if we messing with Mother Nature by not doing anything, it just gets bad. It gets ugly. And maybe the ugliness for us is just sitting in front of a TV for days and days on end. You don't really have many friends. People don't come over. You're not making phone calls. That is just as horrific as blood flying on 100 people. Well, in my opinion.
I love that interpretation. That is accurate in my opinion, because there is the one sequence when the monstrous thing is trying to let everyone know that it's me. It's me. It's really in me. Inside, it's still me. But the outside is this hideous, beyond hideous monster. Yeah, the movie The Thing is very appropriate for the ending sequence. Yeah, which is really scary. Yeah. But or The Fly, the end of The Fly when it's actually melded with the telepod.
Or The Fly, yes, going back to your friend David Cronenberg. Yes, going back to The Fly, yeah. But yeah, I think if we're not, trying to pull that ship over a mountain, whatever stage of life we are on, then things are going to be not right for us.
Live your life for the moment that you happen to find yourself in.
Yeah. You can, as an old person, you can still get it done.
So, Gene, any final thoughts on The Substance?
The Substance. Yeah, I love this movie. Again, watch out. There's a ton of nudity. No sex scenes, though, but a ton of nudity. And but it's got great themes, great messages out there. But don't be that guy. Sit in front of TV watching a lot of that. And please, let's try to. I know here we are. We have our little podcast, but let's try to live life and not be on social media too much. That's
right. Yeah. Well,
we were meant to live life, be around other people.
Don't be on social media. Create stuff to put on social media.
Create stuff. Right? Yeah.
Every Saturday, Gene and I, regardless of what's going on, we sit down.
And it's fun. It's fun hanging out. We're creating something, and we have some subscribers.
Right. There's a few that think we're doing okay.
Yes, a few.
But I do agree with you, Gene. Substance is definitely worth a watch.
Yeah,
the only real complaint I have with this movie is I keep seeing here's stuff that could have been condensed or cut out. Right. But well worth a watch. Is it a thing you're going to view a bunch of times like The Thing maybe? No, you probably won't. But it's definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
So we're once again, Gene, at the point of the show. Any plans for next week?
There's a new vampire movie out. There's seemingly... Hollywood is getting these big stars, throwing a lot of money, or more money, I should say, at the horror movie genre. Mm-hmm. This is a great example. But there's a movie coming out called what's a Blood Bitch or
Night Bitch?
Night Bitch.
With Amy Adams.
She's a werewolf. I think it's in theaters now.
Are we sure it's a horror film, though? I think it's a comedy.
It's a horror comedy?
I think it's... it's definitely a comedy.
Really? Because all I saw was just
The title, Night Bitch.
and a little bit about it's like a vampire or a werewolf. It's a bit about a werewolf. So that's all I know.
I think she turns into a dog.
Interesting. See, I don't know anything about it. We don't have to do it. We can do
well,
something
I don't
else.
know. But when you were going down the road of vampire, I assumed you were talking about Nosferatu.
Well, my kid, 17-year-old kid, definitely wants to see that. So is it out soon? Or?
No, I think it's Christmas Day release.
Well, I'll be in the movie theater Christmas Day.
That's right. Open those presents, kid. We got to get to the movie.
So Night Bitch, maybe not Night Bitch, but we'll figure something out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as usual. It's more fun for me when we don't know what we're doing next week because then I can slip in some random horror movie that Gene
and then it's like Friday afternoon. It's like, we got to get something. So, okay, let's do that. Even though I've never heard of it.
But anyway, go check out The Substance. It's on streaming right now.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.